Carolina. Motor Madness is home base, and
the air to prove from on high. Tonight, the hammer throw returns to Atlanta. We have a torch of a different type. Relays and hammers together, both men's and women's. Steel hurdles. More hammers. The pride of competition. Even gymnastics. Well, make that carnastics.
Well, if everything backwards, turn backwards, 80 mile an hour, plowing into your rear end. When he's behind the wheel, he ain't got no friends. You better tighten up your seatbelt, so it don't melt. Better get ready. Ooh, that looks like it's stung. Congratulations, you just got your bell rung by Bondo Jones. Accident prone, torn in a Buick that was hit head on. He's a demolition derby man. He's all the wreck one car can stand.
Stand by for more Olympic moments. From Woodstock, Georgia, Motor Madness presents live the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Dixie Crash Fest. In case you thought Demolition Derby was a product of the 1950s, have a look in the infield. Over 138 entries for tonight's destruction. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans, and welcome to Dixie Speedway, one of the oldest and proudest dirt half miles in all the Southeast. Now, tonight, the speeds are going to be higher. The impacts are going to be harder because this is the longest battlefield we brought you so far on Motor Madness. And one driver has come an awful long way to inflict this kind of punishment on himself. He's with Bob Fry.
He's the dog, and the last time that we saw him here on TNN's Motor Madness, it was more madness than motor. He's come 640 miles to try to make amends for that dog down in Florida. Wasn't your day?
No, it wasn't. You know, we did qualify into the main event, but when we got into the pit area to work on the car, we found out that the transmission linkage had broke on the inside. We'd had to drop the valve body to fix it, just didn't have time. But we did come a long way this time. We got a lot of friends looking back at us, and the people that helped me get here, I really want to, say thank you to them, and we'll see what we can do for them.
And we'll see tonight if he can live up to that name on the side of the race car. Hopefully for him it will be Beware of the Dog. For more on one of the characters here tonight, let's go over to Bob Gerald.
Lighting the torch for the Demolition Derby games tonight will be...
Thank you, Tim Wilson. Not all the action tonight is going to be from Dixie Speedway because our home base in Charlotte, their plate is pretty full as well. Complete with the dogwoods in bloom.
They're lining up for the first heat for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Dixie Crash Fest. And I'll tell you, after watching Katie throw up some of those bricks, safest place around this weekend might be right out here on the track with the demo derby cars. We got a great field lined up for him. To meet one of our drivers, let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
Well, his family is here to cheer him on. His mother and his girlfriend are here. And we're talking about Brad White, who has graduated with a degree in radio and television from Morehead State. And Brad, what the heck are you doing driving in a demo derby? I understand you're in graduate school.
Yes, it started out as just a hobby, and I was fortunate enough to let it pay for my college education, and now I'm in graduate school and hope to go on.
Tell me about your strategy here.
Well, I'm going to observe just a little bit of patience as they take off the line, let everybody else kind of go away, and then I'll make my move for wherever I'm going.
All right, go ahead and fire it up as we get a chance to throw it over to Tim Wilson with another guy.
Hey, Tim Wilson is here with one of the Dixie Crash Fest headliners, Alton James, 96 Georgia champion. Alton, you're going up against Ronnie Jones, the other co-champion. Y'all are co-champions. We're going to find out who's the man here today. I hear y'all are good friends, but Ronnie's been saying a lot of stuff about your wife and your family, and he said some pretty bad stuff about your dog.
Maybe the wife, but never my dog. I'll take care of him when the time comes.
You got another little project to do here before the grudge match comes up. They hit hard out here. What are you going to do?
Hit hard back.
He's going to hit hard back.
I love the lack of a key on that first guy that Bobby talked to. You know, one of the rookie drivers in this heat has been attracted to Demolition Derby because of his lifelong love of racing. It's a personal passion for the sport that he's graciously decided to share with all of us tonight.
Well, y'all come on in. Welcome to Hot Rods World. This is my hobby.
Ron Maneely of Dallas, Georgia, loves everything to do with racing. Ron's such a devoted fan that he's created his own personal museum with an enormous collection of die-cast models.
Here's another room right here. I got some more in here. The good old days. This is the old NASCARs. This is how they used to haul them thing. This was high class. If you had a ramp truck and a couple of boards and a car like this, you was in hog heaven. This is a type hobby where you're not going to lose money in it. It always goes up in value. Down here, we got some more little cars that Sizzler puts out. I guess you say they're my toys, but I'm a big boy and I still like to play with toys.
Ron likes toys, and he also likes to race, but that can be a problem for a car perfectionist.
Well, the reason I'm doing Demolition Derby is because I like racing and all, and I've always been concerned about my own car. I don't want to tear it up. I was real particular about it. I didn't want to ding it, scratch it, nothing like that. This is something where I don't have to worry about the scratch. I don't have to worry about tearing it up. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna crush it. And I guess anything on my side, I'm gonna probably crush it too.
Ron Maneely is a man who loves his hobbies, and he's found a way to combine collecting with his newest passion, Demolition Derby.
Well, with all these cars, I'm thinking about maybe having a new hobby called the die-cast derby, because there's two birds. There's a firebird and a superbird, but there's only one bird before you come. Oh, no, get back.
If I know Ron, he's got two of each of those in his collection. He wouldn't risk scratching them. It is time, Bob Fry, for heat number 1. They're counting them down.
There you go, two of the guys that we've already met. Number 2.5, alt names, and the collector, over 10,000 models in his basement. It's the journalism major, Brad White, and on William Junger. Bobby, don't call me Buster Couch in the 69X car.
And these cars aren't all from just around here, from northern Illinois, from Kansas, from all over the place. This will be about 12 minutes in duration. The judges, headed by Dutch Holland, will pick 7 or 8 cars to go directly to a main event. And, Bob, the speeds are so much higher on this long course, we're going to have to be a little careful to have something left for the main.
David Owen in the 21 car, one of the few Mopars. Look at that, spun that baby right around. You're going to see some big hits tonight. There's the number 01 car. That's Ron Maneely. And he's got that thing clenched right in his teeth, and I think somebody's in big trouble because you're supposed to have 4 of them, Steve.
You are, and they could black flag him for losing a wheel like that. They don't want to tear up this track for a sprint car race tomorrow night. They said the tires have to stay on the wheels.
Tommy Kent's in the 20K car, just getting bumped around right there by Maneely, who looks like he's got a pretty good start, although this is a 12-minute marathon, just like the Olympics. And our onboard camera, there we go. That's the 222 car, and he had some trouble very early. Brad White. And even though his mom's a professor right down at Georgia Southern, might not help him here this evening, because I don't believe this is a postgraduate course, Steve.
I don't believe it is. This is not Demo 101. They have to be aggressive to score points for the judges. If you lay around there for a couple of minutes and don't hit anybody, you're not going to make the main event. But you've got to be careful, too.
Right in front there, the number 97 car. That was Doug Duke, who was kind of dead in the water. You can see him right there, and he's got big troubles already. Unlike some of the other demo derbies you saw in Motor Madness, Steve, the guys sit here, the duration is so short, the track's so fast, you're going to see a lot of hitting with the front end of the cars.
The only thing you're really not supposed to do is hit in the driver's door, which is why you'll see a lot of these pretty straight on the left-hand side. Let's go down to Tim Wilson.
Hey, I'm down here with Brad White's mother, Sharon.
Yes, hi, how are you? I'm a little nervous right now.
Tell me where y'all are from. Adams County, Ohio.
Yes, that's right, West Union, Ohio.
We got some of these northerners coming all the way down here to the south to get into this. Tell us, Brad's driving for a friend of his?
Yes, he is. Brad's driving number 222. He and at number 888 and 921 are running in memory of a fellow driver and fraternity brother, Gary Grimsley, who died in a car accident on August 24th this year. So we're dedicating this race tonight to Gary.
Well, God bless you, Sharon. Back up to you, Steve Evans.
Okay, that is one excited lady, and her kids did a good job, too. There he is, 222.
Gary Grimsley was born and raised, by the way, right here in Woodstock, Georgia. There's our other guy, Ron Maneely, and I don't know if he's got a collector's car that looks like that on the shelf, and this could be a big upset if he's in trouble real early right out here in the program.
He's hung up with a red car just in front of him.
That's Terry Hadley's car, and they are both deadlocked, and that's not going to help either one of them out. They're sitting ducks, Steve, and if somebody slams one of these, gets a big run like you can get here at this racetrack, they're going to be in awful
awful trouble.
And you can see what Ron is trying to do. He's trying to keep those rear wheels turning. There's 2.5. He's in a bit of trouble as well. That's Alton Ames. Okay, I'll tell you, the crash and the bash is starting early here at Dixie Speedway. Stay with us. We'll be right back on Motor Madness.
It's the Demolition Derby man. He's all the wreck one car can stand.
White all the way down from Ohio calls his car triple deuce because he said 3-2s are hard to beat. He is doing surprisingly well. At least he is. It's more than I can say for his bumper.
I don't like the way the front end is bent up either. In fact, the rear end of these cars should bend up, not down onto the wheels and tires. They're going to notch the frames right. 222 is hanging in there. I think he'll get a berth in the main event, but he's got to keep rolling to do it.
Don't know if many of these guys are going to last the 12-minute time limit. We're on board again. That's our crash cam. Couple of station wagons out there. I talked to the dog earlier, and he said some of the station wagons now getting hard to find. You can see a bunch of them out there for the derbies. And surprisingly enough, some of the cars, Alton Ames wagons, doing well. The 01 car, that's Ron Manili, who looks like he is a dead player, a souvenir, and it could be good night for Hot Rod, Ron Manili.
I tell you, he has turned a full-size wagon into a miniature now. They can find a place for it in his collection. And it's not just body damage. The first thing that goes is the radiator. You can see steam coming out of that one. Bobby Gerald?
One of the things, guys, that all of the drivers and teams are talking about is this particular derby pit that they're running on tonight. It's a lot different than anything we've seen in the past on Motor Madness. It is banked. It's a front straightaway of a racetrack that they use for sprint cars and stock cars, and there is banking. So you have to deal with that. Plus, it's a whole lot longer, as you guys talk, really build up some speed and do some serious hitting out here. And this one's going to be a war. I think we're going to see a lot more damage in the main event cars tonight because they have to deal with all the action here in the heat races on a much harder hitting racetrack.
Kevin Huggins in the 84 car doing well. Bobby, a little word of advice by that wall. You might want to duck down. 2 reasons. Parts could fly, and Katie's still taking some practice shots, and some of those babies could bounce all the way down here. Look at that. How about that? Let's go join Tim Wilson down there. Tim?
Hey, this is my hometown, so they told me I had to supply the good-looking women, so I did. This is my wife, Ronit, my daughter, Sophia, their friend, Julie, and all their ugly, ugly boyfriends up on the top here. Have you girls picked out a winner yet?
Yeah, number 429, Top Gun. 222. 31.
31. It's their first Demolition Derby, and they seem to be having a pretty good time. Now, y'all go cook me some food somewhere.
When you raise those kids and get their driver's license, Tim, you'll find out what a real demo derby is like. The 45 car's doing well. That 429 Top Gun they mentioned about, Terry Fannon's doing a very good job. Our camera car, 3 deuces, might be tough to beat when you're playing poker, but he has really got big trouble here, Steve.
He is parked, and I don't mean valet. For these drivers in the first heat, they can consider themselves lucky. They'll have more time to try to patch them up if you can patch that up. It looks like it got hit by a piece of space junk. Bobby Gerald?
Well, the 222 car has slowed down a little bit out there, Steve, and Tom White, the chief, is Brad's father. Tom, what's the deal?
Well, I don't know for sure. I'm afraid we've lost the drive shaft. He's got it folded up pretty bad. Everybody's wanting to hit that in-car camera he's carrying for you. But we're really glad to be here in memory of a fraternity brother, demolition buddy of his for several years, Gary Grimsley, who passed away in a car accident last year.
Right now, this team is just hoping that the 222 has scored enough points to advance. It's not necessarily the last guy running. It depends on how many points you score and how aggressive you were out here during the green flag action.
Absolutely, Bobby. There's the cheering section for 222. That sure puts a smile on the face of the engineers, doesn't it, when he says everybody's taking a hit at your onboard camera?
429 is doing a wonderful job. Terry Fannon's car is very strong. Surprisingly, the 84 car, Kevin Huggins, not a lot of damage on that car, Steve, and it's not a station wagon, the 4-door models.
And it's folding up in the rear the way it absolutely should to form kind of a battering ram there.
Larry Statch just to the right of the screen there. He's doing a wonderful job, too. Now, the 429, look at that. Almost looks like it's right off the showroom floor.
If there was an award for strategy in this first heat, it would go to Terry Fannin in that 429. He kind of got up against the wall, made a loop around this whole field at the start, and held back about a minute before he really got into it. So he's got something left to fight with.
And that's more than most of the guys in this opening match can say. Hasn't been a good day for the bumpers. Their stats, we were just mentioning him doing a very good job. And there's the collision between two of the guys that I think will advance into the finals. Huggins got the 84 car. Stats has the 45 car. Nice to have a sponsor from an auto body shop if you're at the Demo Derby, Steve.
That's right, and about 1,000 pounds of Bondo to fix this wreckage. 45 is really wants, I think, a little break right here. He's had about enough for 30 seconds or so if he can get away.
The station wagons seem to be doing pretty good, and they're just about ready to give him the flag in the end of the heat. And I like 429, Terry Fannin, Kevin Huggins, the 84 car, Larry Stats, and you can see there's not a whole lot of motion. 1 or 2 Chrysler cars down there, Steve. Surprising, the majority of these Chevrolet-powered machines. Big machines, 350 cubic inch engines. A couple guys we'll talk about later actually have $3,000 and $4,000 invested in the engines of these cars.
That's true, and it's backward technology. You try to reduce as much friction as you possibly can because sooner or later that radiator is going to go. You need a motor that will continue to run. They run a lot of high-tech lubricants in these things, some space-age stuff. There's a bumper. Fred, you need a bumper for that Dodge Aspen of yours?
I'm not sure the motor or the radiator was the big problem for that guy we just saw. I talked with a couple of the drivers. They said they bring 4 or 5 radiators because they think they got a chance to stay alive. We'll come back and take a look at the guys that survived and look at some more right here on TNN Motor Madness.
He's a demolition derby man. He's all a wreck one car can stand.
Hi, I'm Tim Wilson, and Georgia is my home state. We're famous for a lot of stuff here. Peaches, peanuts, and dog wood.
Now, but you could just get Tim playing properly with the puppy. Remember, Tim, you throw the stick. You throw the stick. All right, the winner has been declared of heat number 1. The survivor, I guess I should say. That is number 429, Terry Fannin. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
Terry Fannin is a winner here in heat race number 1. Congratulations on that, Terry. Looks like your car came out remarkably well.
Yeah, it's been up a little bit. We'll have to take it back to the pits and do some repairs and stuff on it. You know, take and see what we can salvage of it.
What was the biggest hit that you suffered?
Oh, that one side shot, it kind of cracked my neck there a little bit. It was good. It was a good shot.
Now, this track is longer than what we've seen in the past on Motor Madness. How much speed can you generate? And, I mean, are you guys in danger out there? Is this safe?
No, you really shouldn't be in danger with the cage around you and the doors welded shut. They can come in, but everything should be all right. The speed, I'd say we're probably running between 40 and 50 mile an hour.
All right, congratulations to you. When he talks about the cage in the car, he's talking about a bar that runs all the way around the front, and as you can see, it comes right over on his right arm and straight back. That helps reinforce the body of where the driver is sitting and keeps the driver safe out here in the Demo Derby action.
He's a big boy, and that's a big car, and he was one of the ones that managed to keep it upright on all 4s and kept all 4 going round. Terry Fannin, there's Scruggs, Huggins, Larry Stats, and David Owen, and too bad old 222 didn't do well here in the opening session.
No, he certainly had the most charismatic cheerleaders, that's for sure. His mom, his dad, and all his friends. Bobby was talking about that bar across there. You're only able to add that bar in most associations if you've taken the dashboard out. Look at this. Well, there's 222. He didn't have a lot left to fight with anyway, Bob. I'm not sure they could have got that car ready for the main event.
Nope, a little moment of silence for our onboard camera there, the crash cam, so aptly named, and everything like this. He had some real problems with that thing. We got some more activity coming up, the Dixie Crash Fest, right here on TNN's Motor Madness Live.
No lie, he's legally blind in his good eye. He can't see much, but he can smell the kill. So you better not get caught standing still.
Constitution Dixie Crash Fest. Most newspapers, major newspapers, get involved in charity things and equestrian events and golf tournaments. The Atlanta Constitution's at the Demo Derby, and we're proud.
Hey, you look at some of the cars getting set for this heat. Ronnie Jones and Fred Gates. We'll have a look at Fred Gates coming up in just a little bit. He'll be in the 69 car in a very interesting story. Tommy Price with the 83 car and Randy Hood, number 49, in his 79 Oldsmobile. David Crow drives the 2 car. That's the pride of Chillicothe, number 74, in a 74 Lincoln, Tony Spurgeon. The 527 car will be Billy Klein, number 30, David Scheibner, here in his second Demolition Derby. Number 420, that's Steve Grooms. He's lining up with number 18. Hopes he doesn't meet him anymore during the day. Chuck Roby.
The only thing they all have in common so far is facial hair until we get to Steve Penson Sr. He let me down. Chris Rogers, he got plenty of it, number 65, and a Hulk Hogan hat to go with it. Vic Whaley, number 14. Brian Miller, number 22. All in all, 19 cars.
Well, yeah, big, hard-driving steel man. W4, that's Jesse Wilson. 007, Jim Mullins. He is from Michigan. This is his first Demolition Derby. 22 cars, Billy Palmer. He's from Minnesota. Hey, take that, Brad Daugherty. Another Final Four man. And the heavy equipment operator, Billy Taylor, number 88. And in the 89 car here, that is going to be Anthony Dunn. His car number 89, that's the same year his son was born. That's why he's got it on the side. Great cars here, including a guy in that number 69 car here that we're going to take a look at during this particular heat. Hope he fares better than our feature car in that last session. It's a guy that's got more than one reason for competing here this evening in the number 69 car, and he loves the sport of Demolition Derby for, well, a lot of reasons, but maybe not just because it's thrills here. As you take a look at the rest of the guys who are on the lineup here getting set for heat number 2 and see who can survive and go into this next round. So for the guy in the 69 car, hey, maybe good business, but he's a personal injury lawyer. Let's take a look here at Fred Gates driving in this heat.
Fred Gates has successfully practiced law in Atlanta for 20 years. He's a respected attorney who has earned a reputation as an aggressive advocate for his clients.
A lot of people expect attorneys to be kind of nasty and kind of mean, and I guess in that context, it's probably the only profession I can think of where you're not only expected to be on your worst behavior, but you're also paid to be on your worst behavior. Generally speaking, you do have to assume the role of a gladiator, a jiu-jitsu stylist, a judo stylist, a psychologist. There are times that you will have a knockdown, drag-em-out battle with no holds barred. As far as some transferable skills are concerned, there's a lot to be said between a good litigation battle in the courtroom and a good demolition derby contest. The minute that I got behind the wheel of the car and you actually get that adrenaline going and you get in the heat of this thing and it's real, real loud, dust flying all over the place, hits like you wouldn't believe, to go back to the country club and just have a round of golf or a tennis game is just not going to be the same. It's just not the same. I don't really think that a lot of the fellas that I compete with know that I'm a lawyer, and I really don't try to say too much because I guess, you know, if they knew I was a lawyer, maybe everybody would make a beeline to my car and put me out of action quick. I mean, to hell with everybody else. Let's get this guy. And that will be the main feature tonight, getting the lawyer.
In just a few minutes, we will play Pin the Bumper on the Barrister. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
Well, Ron Hodges has had a stiff neck before, but he doesn't get them too often because he is a 4-time Michigan champion and 6-time Canadian champion. How'd you hear about this one in Georgia?
I watched it on TNN.
And that just brought you right out?
Yeah, I had to go ahead and put a car together and see if we can come down and give her a try.
All right, he's one of the best, bringing a little international flair, if you will, winning the 6 Canadian National Championships. Tim Wilson standing by with one of our grudge match guys. Tim?
Hey, I think I found Bondo Jones's brother. This is Rojo Jones in a 75 Fleetwood from Woodstock, Georgia, folks. You are looking down the barrel of the local hero. There he is. Ronnie Jones, you got the grudge match coming up with Alton. And last time, Alton's tires ended up in your engine block, or?
Yeah, he wound up on top of the roof, and he couldn't get off, so we tied, and we've been waiting since last year to settle this. So we're going to settle it tonight. One of us is going to be a winner.
Somebody's going to get drug out of here is what you're saying.
Right. And I plan on it being him.
Hey, Southern hospitality. There it is, folks.
Ah, what a deal there. Well, the Barrister and the match race all coming up right here live on TNN's Motor Madness and Dixie Speedway in Woodstock, Georgia. We've got more crashing and banging coming up live next.
Monday, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central on TNN Motorsports.
We're back, and the word has already gone out to light 'em up for heat number 2 here at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Dixie Crash Fest in Woodstock, Georgia, also known as the other Woodstock. This will be about 12 minutes, Bob Fry, about 19 cars, and about as rough as it gets.
It's like a battle royal on wheels. The last man standing, and that will be interesting when we watch that match race later on today. Could be a first right here on TNN Motor Madness, Steve. A match race at the Demo Derby.
The green flag is out. The clock is spinning. The judges are watching. A very subjective judging system headed by Dutch Holland. Already there's a point for the 527 car. That'll count. That'll put him in good stead already. That's Bill Klein.
The 93 car trying to slide down there. That's Rojo. That's our match race guy. Here's our in-car camera. He's kind of sitting there. Ronnie Jones, he's got to do double duty here this evening. He'll be involved in that match race. Not a lot of moving going on. Number 888, Billy Taylor there. He was just kind of sitting. A lot of tough problems getting traction here, Steve, on this play.
And the yellow car, Chuck Robbie, we just saw 18. And there's a nice spin around by number 65. That was beautifully done for Chris Rogers.
And he sat there, and Bill Palmer came in, the guy from Minnesota. There are a bundle of folks down here in the infield from Minnesota that came down here trying to cheer on their boy. The 93 car, Rojo, just kind of sitting there and sliding backwards, and I don't believe that's by design.
Well, generally speaking, if you see steam this early out of a hood, he's in trouble.
A lot of guys kind of sitting around in the middle. Not quite as much motion as we saw. That's our onboard crash cam, and still trying to stay alive. There's a guy sponsored by me. That's the school paper company. You used to seeing all your homework projects, carbonless paper, and we saw them beating on that baby at the top of the show.
And that is Bill Palmer. Doesn't hurt to be flashy out there, and Palmer has a little of that. You can spin that car around, make a tag, spin it again. The key, of course, is keep those rear wheels spinning. Number 30 there, kind of a pretty car if you call any of them 30, David Schrodner.
93 with a great arena shot right across Old Rojo. A lot of the folks out here cheering on for their favorites. See, there are a lot of guys that are just sitting there. We had perpetual motion in the first heat, but not a lot of motion right here.
It looks like I-285 on the way from the airport yesterday afternoon. Bobby Joe.
Stand by. A lot of debris out on the racetrack, and one of the things we noticed right after that last heat race as we were getting ready to talk with some of the drivers for this heat race, there's a lot of metal that's ground in down on the speedway. But look what we found here. I don't know if there's any cassette tape decks functioning on any of the cars, but here's something that I don't think anyone's going to be using anytime tonight, guys.
Oh, look at this move. Look at Redman. The blue wagon right there. Oh, and then he took a shot in return.
There are three guys running with this red man, Steve Penson Sr. He's got his son here and another team. They're part of what they call the Forest City Boys, and they do this an awful lot. Well, they don't do that an awful lot, but they do the demo derbies a lot. Rojo, meanwhile, trying to dish out a little bit of problem. That's Roby and the 93 car. Rojo doing a pretty good job as he's spinning that baby around.
He might have played a little bit of possum there, just long enough to where the judges didn't catch it. Play dead and come back to life.
I like the red man. The number 49 car there's got some problems. Let's catch up with Tim Wilson.
Red man. I'm down here with some Paulding County High School boys. Kaysen is the spokesman. Kaysen, who y'all looking at down here? Who you pulling for?
Red man.
He's a red man. Hey, move down here. Let's look at this right here. Hey, you think it's 20 degrees out here? Hey, there's some class acts at Paulding County High School. I can say that. Steve?
Oh, please ask my daughter to the prom.
Oh, yeah. I got a line there, but I'm going to eat it.
Okay. You realize that guy had an Alabama hat on here in Georgia. They could run him right out of town. Steve Penson Sr., part of the Forest, doing a great job and hitting all the damage on the back of the car, and that's what he wants to do, Steve.
And Ronnie Jones kind of sneaking in there. Here's the opposite end of this front straightaway at Dixie Speedway. 22 just laying there. I don't think he's playing possum either, Bill Palmer.
Yeah, that's the guy from Minnesota. And, of course, their basketball team's still alive, which is more than we can say for him. And the red man, he may win this one by attrition. The 18 car got the little puppet on top, bouncing back and forth. Chuck Roby, he's been making a lot of moves. And the red man there, that was not his desire. He got whacked in the front, Steve, and slammed into the back of the other car.
No, it wasn't. I was going to try to spin it around and get that rear end poise where he can strike.
Rojo, staying alive.
Staying alive?
Yeah.
Staying alive.
He's got that white suit and everything on down there, you can tell.
Maybe he's not staying alive. That's not fog coming in, folks. That's cooling out of the radiator.
A little smoke on the water, and that ain't good at the demo derbies. I'm not the most technically oriented guy in the world, Steve, but that's trouble, right?
I think we're going to keep the dust down under the 93 car, yeah. Rojo, isn't that Spanish for red?
That's Spanish for I can't believe I'm not going to make it to the finals. Redman's starting to get banged around a little bit, but he's got one of those big, wide-body, four-door wagons, and he's kind of punching up there on Ron Hodges. Ron, the 10-time champion. Meanwhile, Chuck Roby, the number 18 car over there, is still doing a good job despite the fact that he's getting severely tagged in the front. There's two guys right there, Steve. There are two guys right there that could make it to the finals. The 18 car and, of course, the red man.
Roby about to run over his own bumpers. He's right hanging down right in front of the 18 car. Ooh, the motor is not doing well internally. When you see fire out of the pipes, that is not a Doug Rose fire show, folks. That is a burnt piston or a bad valve.
It's a bad something or a burn everything. And there's a real pile up there. Two of the guys that look like they may survive are kind of slamming each other around. The front wheels there for Roby not even touching the ground. He was locked up on the red man.
And remember, there's a lot of damage to these cars you can't see. Broken motor mounts, broken transmission mounts, throttle linkage off the carburetors where they're pulling a chain that they got through the firewall to keep it going.
Lost cassette tapes, all those kind of things. But they've got to get him back if indeed they survive to come back later on. Little flames on the front of the race car, and the red man still keeping going. Car in the background there, the W4 car, and he's been out of the action since very early in the program.
Pumping that steam. Oh, man, how many times did you come off of a hill into a gas station with your car looking like that? Okay, well, they're starting to slow her down here. A lot of cars barely even mobile. So we'll take just a moment to take a quick break, and we'll come back for more demo action.
Demolition Man.
TNN's Motor Madness, and there's not a lot of action going on down there. Bill Palmer, the 22 car is still staying alive. Let's get down to Bobby.
The 22X of Brian Miller, one of the guys who is out there staying alive, and his wife, you get Miller, is down here watching him. He's been putting on some pretty good hits so far, huh?
Yeah, he's throwing.
What do you think of this Demolition Derby stuff?
Oh, I like it. Said I like it.
She likes it, guys. Tim?
Put a polygraph on that woman.
Hey, I'm down here with a Dixie Speedway regular. This is Lori Williford from Virginia.
Hi. Originally from Virginia, yeah. Live here now.
You want to say hi to your friends?
I want to say hi to my baby sister in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Yay, Vicky! Hi!
Well, you're a Ronnie Jones fan. Looks like Ronnie's kind of hurting on this race, but he'll be back in the grudge match.
I'm rooting for him in the grudge match, absolutely. This is a great night. Great night. Glad to have y'all here, too.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Back up, Steve.
Well, I think the captain of the 93 has abandoned ship, Bob Price.
Even in demo derby, Steve, when you're behind the wall, you are out of here. And that was the 93 car of Ronnie Jones. And he's got the match race later on. And in the middle, flames and all. Danny Seidner is still staying active. And Chuck Roby, the 18 car. And there's the 22 car that we're talking about. And bam, he just gets hit by flames and all. And how about that? There's a little stuffed animal on top, and he's kind of sitting there saying, let me out of here, let me out of here. I think it's a Tasmanian devil.
And there's nothing tougher than the Taz. Let's remember Ronnie Jones in that grudge affair will be driving another car.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. From the Tim Wilson fleet, the complete factory livery.
Yeah, there he is. That's the Taz. And he goes, oh, can't beat me, can't touch this.
The Taz is going to have his own movie pretty soon. I can't wait.
Yeah, guys with moose antlers on in our Reno show last year, and here he's got the Tasmanian Devil, flames on the front. Of course, flames are my life. Chuck Roby in the 18 car, he is trying like the Dickens to try to hit somebody, and then he gets whacked. The station wagon came in and slammed him right from behind. Broadside deal, so probably not too much damage there for that one.
But let's remember he was born to demo.
Bill Taylor in the 888 car, one of the heavy equipment operators, and he has got one. It's not the wagon, but it's still a very big car. There are 3 teammates there, and he's got an animal somewhere getting a little stuff and beat out him on his car, too, there. Right there on the windshield, hooked on there, and I'm not sure that's a stuffed animal.
It's a bull.
I'm sorry.
It's got to be a bull. Yeah, it's got orange. If it's got orange, it's a bull. I'll tell you, he's driving like a bull, too. I thought for a minute the clock was going to outlast the cars, but that is not the case.
Must be some warm and fuzzy guys down there between the Taz and the Bull and everybody just trying to be able to maintain enough momentum so they can score some points from the judges. Let's check in again with Tim Wilson.
Hey, I got some resident experts down here. These are the 3 most expert Demolition Derby people in Atlanta. This is Donnie, Tony, and David. Who are y'all pulling for in this race?
18.
18.
18?
Uh-huh.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
Yeah.
Would you bet money on it?
No.
Hey, you don't have anything but lunch money.
This betting is for amusement only. Don't try this at home. If you do try this at home, make sure you use somebody else's car. I'm surprised anybody's still managing to move out there, and a couple of cars trying to dodge the traffic out in the back there, Steve, while our boy Chuck Roby, that's who they were just cheering for, going wacky. Now that was a Tasmanian Devil move right there in the center of the track.
It was. That had Taz written all over it. Now if he can just escape. Oh, and the 30 car inflicts yet another hit. That's David Scrivener. There's the fans for number 18.
Neat little T-shirt too. I'm not sure that was another fuzzy animal.
You know, this really is a family deal. In the pits, in the grandstands, everybody has a ton of fun. It's a pretty modest budget for the kind of purse. It's about $8,000 a purse.
And you know, these cars have to come back for the finals. You take a look at them. Remember, there is more to come. Oh, wow. What a big hit. That ends that heat.
Mercifully, the checkered flag falls. Okay, we will be back with more of the Dixie Crash Fest. They're not crashed out yet. Stay with us on Motor Madness.
With a gas floor, ditch against the dashboard, there goes your bumper. Better get the wrecker warned. You feel like an Iraqi in the desert storm.
The remnants of heat number 2. We're going to take a look down in Victory Lane. We're going to meet our winners here in just a little bit. I guess the correct term, Steve, would be survivors.
I think so. And we're going to go down to Bobby Gerald, and I want you to check out this really cool jacket. Look at this. Why don't we have one of those, producer man? Go,
well,
Bobby.
I tell you what, Steve, I'm kind of liking this jacket, too. Now, I hope you've all got a good look at the back. Turn around, take a good look at the front here. And this is what I'm wondering, Steve, and I want to kind of run this by you since you've been on TNN for so long and you kind of know how the producer things work. I'm checking out the way it fits me. Fits pretty nice in the sleeves. I like the collar. It's about perfect for me. So what I'm wondering is, I mean, do you think I have a chance of keeping this thing tonight and not giving it to the winner of tonight's thing? Do they usually maybe bring 2 of these, Steve?
Bobby, my wisdom is, at this point in your career, if they allow you to keep the jacket, give it to either the producer or the director for their kids. That's really the smart way to do it.
I have noted that, and that's exactly what I'm going to do tonight. Although, you know, I may have to try to make a side.
Being higher, the impacts being harder, well, they were in this heat, and the winner is, ta-da, may I have a drum roll, please?
Ron Hodges in that 199 car. He was the guy that was the 10-time champ coming in. Let's go down to Bobby.
Hey, Ron Hodges is the winner. Ron, take a look at this jacket that I have on right here. Now, if you win tonight, I don't know if it's going to fit you, but this jacket is going to go to whoever wins this deal tonight. Congratulations on your heat race win.
Much. That was a heck of a race out there. A lot of iron flying, a lot of bending metal.
Tell me about this this track, because we saw some really big-time hits out there. You guys can gather up a ton of speed.
It's real long. It's longer than the average track that you usually race at, and there's no grease at all or nothing on here, and you can just the cars bite pretty good, and you can get some good traction out here.
Yes, they can. Tim Wilson, what's going on?
Hey, I got Brian Miller, number 22X. This is our runner-up in this heat. Take a look at that front tire, would you? Holy smoke. Brian, you going to be able to get this mess back together enough to race?
Yeah, we can get it back together. There's a couple boys back here that's got a fresh nose. We're going to see if we can buy it off of them, put a new nose on it, and come back out.
Man, you boys would have got an A in physics.
There's some serious damage to that machine. I think he's very optimistic that he can get that repaired, but they've got a fair amount of time there as you look at the results of heat number 2.
Hodges, Miller, Taylor, Shiver, and Wilson. And they'll come back and live again. Right now, let's go back and join things back in Charlotte at the studio. See how that slammed.
I'm in the editorial room of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the 2 largest newspapers in the South. Believe it or not, 14 years ago, I applied for a job here and was turned down. They said, son, obituaries should not be funny. Anyway, my name's in the paper today. I'm told way in the back in the F section, page 2, says Peach Buzz, Demolition Derby comes to town, comedian Tim Wilson from Roswell. Wilson, culturally impaired. Boy, it's great to be home.
Where they treat you with the respect you deserve. I want my thing to be funny, right? My obit. You know, Bonnie Patterson may be the only night, but don't worry about her. She can take care of herself in tough situations. She's handled them every day these past 14 years as a police officer for the Ackworth, Georgia Police Department.
207 to 54A at 4400 Ackworth Industrial Drive. Only description of
Officer Bobby Patterson is a no-nonsense policewoman who really enjoys the challenges of her profession.
207 clear responding from Cowan and Baker Roads. Here to help the people, do what I can for them. Sometimes they don't like what I have to do, but I have to do it anyway. It's my job. Some of the things I have to do are unpleasant. Some that's unpleasant for me, some that's unpleasant for the citizen, but we have to look out for the whole of the community, not just for one individual person.
Baker, 1630.
Officer Patterson believes in crime prevention, so she works hard to develop relationships with everyone in the community, especially the kids.
If you're driving a car, you need to safely
Unfortunately, not everyone in the community is as easy to deal with as the children.
You failed to come to a complete stop at the stop sign at 1st and Main.
There was not a car within a mile of the place, you know.
Is this your current address, sir?
Yeah, that's my current address. You know, I pay taxes, it pays you, and I've got to work, I make money.
No matter how difficult the situation, Bobby Patterson is dedicated to serving and upholding the law. But after a hard day on the beach, she needs to vent her frustrations. And what better way than with a little demo derby action?
Oh, yes, you would not believe the frustration that I have sometimes. I'm out here trying to help these people, trying to protect them, trying to protect their families, trying to protect homes and property. And they don't want me to protect them unless it's what they want, the law according to them. So I can't wait to get in that demolition car. I'm going to let them have it. I'm going to vent all those frustrations that I have. I just can't wait. It's going to be so exciting.
Well, unfortunately, she's not going to be able to vent those frustrations tonight. And Bobby Patterson, it's very disappointing for her. She was involved in an auto accident. A drunk driver hit her, and that's keeping you out of the Derby tonight. How disappointed are you?
I'm very, very disappointed. I hope to get some sponsorship money for my regular car by being out here. But the doctor won't clear me to race, so my daughter has agreed to fill in. She's a third-generation driver. My father was a driver. I'm a driver, and now this is her first demolition derby, first time in a race car of any type. I'm real excited but nervous.
Carlotta Kaiser is going to do it. And Carlotta, you just had a birthday the other day. Are you nervous about this? First time ever in a demo derby?
Yeah, I've never done this before, so it's pretty scary.
Boy, she looks like she's about ready to either cry or have a lot of fun. I'm not sure, guys. Tim?
Hey, if the cops are out here, this is probably the guy they'll be looking for later. Chuck Rush, Junkyard Dog. We saw you in Orlando. This is the same car you drove in Orlando with the speeds going out here on this 300-foot track. I don't know if it's going to make it through this one.
I tell you what, they're really hitting pretty hard out there. I doubt if this thing's going to make it, but we're here to have fun, put on a good show. We got a lot of people back in town. You know, I like to thank the people helping me get here. Swan Truck Sales, Blue and Gray Trailer Manufacturing, Ron's Tires, and M&M Auto Salvage, and especially my girlfriend, Carmen. Carmen, watch the in-car cam, baby. I got something, a surprise for you in here.
Hey, this is one of the great men of Demolition Derby right here, folks. Back up to y'all, Steve.
Well, this sport is all about fun. I'm glad to see everybody having some. Love the bandana there, Chuck, and I wonder if the drunk driver might have been the guy in the weird black and yellow tie.
What a matchup as we line them up. There's John Paris in the 757 car with his crew chief, Chubby Mays. Number 400, that's Mark Hibbert. He's got a 76 Chevrolet 488 with a Chrysler car, Clint Lovely. Number 53, that's Williamson, and he is a record driver by profession. How apropos, Eddie Woodward's in the 10 car. 489 is Travis Lovely. He'll be driving a Malibu wagon. It's kind of a lightweight here. Darryl Monroe in the 18.5. 809 is Mark DeWayne. He's part of a team that's here today. He's all the way down from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the 208 car, driving that's Brian Scholernen. 49 car, we've had good luck with them in the past. That's Randy Hood, and Mike Schelt will be wheeling a 48 car. He is in his 6th year of demo derbies. Tim Jumper in the 121 car, and with the M1 right at the top of the pack from Dade City, Florida, Ed Riblin. 15 is Chris. I hope to be in the cash here tonight. 00 from right down the road in Riverdale, Georgia. Here's the guy, Buddy Drewer.
You know, I should point out that Dixie Speedway runs a regular Demolition Derby program, at least once, sometimes twice a month during the season. So that's one of the reasons we have this tremendous turnout. Another reason is a lot of people just got interested in watching TNN from Orlando and earlier last year. And boy, they're starting out with a bang. How about the move by the, is that the 9 car?
The dog and the Big J right there, the dog with our onboard camera. He's one of the guys that said he had a lot of problem at home, could not find a station wagon for this race here tonight, and he thinks that's going to be a big problem. Darren Monroe in the 18.5 car, one of the few two-doors, trying to advance into that championship. Oh, the dog's just getting the tar beat out of him down there.
Yeah, but the 18 car used the front end, and that's not all of that wise, Darrell Monroe.
There's Carlotta in her first race ever, just turned 17. That's a big wide body to Cadillac, and she may be in a bit overhead. We can see, yeah, she's smiling. Go with me on this, she's smiling.
You saw that in the rearview mirror. Yeah, so did I. The dog is not having a great outing here unless this is just kind of posturing on his part. You know, he spun out of there, a lot of flamboyance, and now the dog is kind of toothless.
I'm not sure if we're going to get a shot of that onboard camera that he'd like us to see a little bit later on, but the dog has big problems. He's locked up, and I think they might be red flagging Carlotta right down there, so I think they're going to stop things and get her out of the race car. Let's go to Bob Gerald.
Well, that's exactly what's happened. The red flag has come out, and Carlotta grabbed her leg after she took one of those initial shots. Bobby Patterson, Carlotta's mom, is standing right here by me. You rushed in there, and I saw you stick your head in the cockpit. Did you get a chance to speak with her at all? Is she all right?
No, she just says she's real uncomfortable. I don't know what all's wrong with her. I had to back up. I'm a police EMT. I'm used to getting right in there, but it's not my job here tonight. I'm just worried about my baby.
Is this difficult for you to have to stand back?
Oh, yes, very difficult. I want to check on my baby. I'm an EMT. I'm a police officer and a firefighter, so I know what to do in there. So I'm kind of nervous.
Well, she is in very good hands. They're all taking a look right now and trying to make sure that she's going to be all right. And we'll stand by here with you, and hopefully everything's going to be okay.
Thank you very much.
Even with her years of experience as a police officer and an EMT, when it's your own child in the incident, it's just a whole nother ball game. We'll be back and let you know how Carlotta is feeling right after these words. There's a lot more Demo Derby to come.
Waiting for this thing to continue. Let's go down for an update. Let's go to Tim Wilson.
Hey, I'm here with the Cherokee Warriors. Let's hear it for the Cherokee Warriors. Jack Goodwin's brought this group in here. Jack, I hope you're not the driver's ed teacher at Cherokee.
No, I'm not.
What do you do over there?
I'm head of the touchdown club over at Cherokee.
Well, talk to me here, Jack. This is national television.
Right. Well, we're here tonight. Having a good time.
Well, good. Let's hope these kids right here have not had bad influences on them tonight with all these cars wrecking. This ought to be the safest group of drivers in the world. And thanks for the help here, Jack. Back to y'all.
I tell you what, Tim is used to doing stand-up comedy with the audience. You don't have to interview anybody. You did stand-up, Bob.
He's also used to working alone. Normally when guys are talking back to him, he's not happy. Tim, you got to make up your mind here. You want him to talk, you don't want him to talk.
And never ask a question that can be answered with one word, because they will.
We'll take a look at this again as they are attending to sitting there helpless, tried to brace herself. You could see she was going to take that hit and then kind of backs up, and we'll take a look at that again one more time, and she just gets ready to brace herself when she gets slammed from the side, Steve.
Watch, the car moves completely out from under her. It almost looks like one of those, crash tests. Bobby Gerald?
Well, we continue.
Well, they're taking Carlotta out to be checked over. Our preliminary report, she suffered a couple of broken ribs out there, but she was conscious, talking to everybody, including Mom, who's with her there as they take her out. We wish her the best, Steve.
And also a possible broken leg. We hope not. But heat number 3 has been restarted here at Dixie Speedway. And with that delay, it could be an abbreviated heat. I think all the drivers know that, and they're going to get right with the program.
The double O car, very popular driver right here. He's from Riverdale, which is right down the road a little bit. And the in-car in our junkyard dog, the JYD and everything. And he's looking out the back right there. And right now he's got to be looking out for his back, Steve. The car took a lot of banging, as you can see right there in the early going. An excellent driver. Races almost everything for a living.
He does indeed, and he came out rather bare-knuckled. I think now he's got the 12-ounce gloves on.
Let's check in now with Tim. Who you got, Timmy?
Hey, they told me to find somebody who could talk, and nobody does it better than this man right here. Nobody I know of represents the good things about Georgia better than Rhubarb Jones. How are you doing, sir?
Tim, I'm doing great. I'm having a wonderful time here at Dixie Speedway, and I want to say good evening to the First Lady of the Nashville Network, Katie Haas. I love you, darling. I really do.
Hey, this is the great man in Atlanta radio right here. But Rhubarb, you do a lot of work fighting leukemia. Tell us about that.
Well, Tim, we do something called a March Across Georgia for the Leukemia Society. We do that every June, and we go to various communities in the northern half of Georgia, and we collect pennies. And over the years, we've collected almost $1 million in pennies from everybody, and everybody can contribute something to the Leukemia Society, if it's a handful of pennies or checks or whatever. But we do that, and then we do our 5th annual Rhubarb Jones Celebrity Golf Tournament to benefit the Leukemia Society. Is coming up on the 12th of May. We're going to have it at the Dunwoody Country Club in Atlanta. And we've got a number of stars, celebrities like Brian White are going to be in for it. Y'all call 770-859-0899. Get you signed up. Come on to Atlanta and help us out.
Man, go get your car and get down here in this mess.
I'd love it. It just remind me of I-285 every day.
Steve Evans.
Okay, it reminded me of I-285 yesterday.
That was Rhubarb, and earlier you saw Tim with that dog. That was Rhubarb's dog. His name's Bill, by the way. It's a very strange family, their names.
We got some strange action going on here, too. I mean, there's been some brutal hits. There's another one from the 18.5 car, Daryl Monroe, purple car.
And the dog is still alive.
I don't think the dog's been scoring big points, though.
But he's still running, 757. I love that. His crew chief named Chubby Mays. Wonder if he knows Rhubarb. They're really jamming up in the middle now, Steve. The Riverdale, Georgia driver right there with the 00 car. He's starting to take a couple of hits. And the Dade City, Florida car was the M1 machine. They're starting to bang pretty. Oh, look at that. Wow.
Even though it's probably just steam, if that hot liquid gets on you, it's going to hurt. Oh, and then he takes a shot from the 400 car when he was worried about a steam bath. That was Mark Hibbert in 400.
And that was Alan Shelby in trouble. Let's go to Bob Gerald.
Well, one of the guys still going out there is number 10. That's Ed Woodward. Now, Ed is from Indiana. That's his father, Jack, who has come here with 14 people from Indiana. 6 of them are in the pits. And a good friend of his, Jimmy Baker's down here checking out all the action. Jimmy, what do you think of the job Ed's doing so far?
I think he's doing pretty good as long as he keeps moving. He'll be all right.
All 14 of you come in the same car?
We took 2 trucks and a Jimmy.
There you go. 2 trucks and a Jimmy will get you to Georgia for the Demo Derby, guys.
What's Bob looking to take over Tim Wilson's job?
And let me tell you, Bobby, there's not a lot of new coaches in this infield. Keep him moving, Dan. Don't you listen to him, man. He's a devil, not a man. Just keep those wheels on those tires. Error, no.
Did they all come in one car? Woodward's in the 10 car. 400 is Hibbert, and he's all over the place. That's a 76 car, and he told me that it was a little bit lighter than he thought he would like to have. Some of these cars starting at over 4,000. What a great
momentum. Oh, man.
Wow. Looked like the teenagers down in Bruley, Louisiana, where I was a couple of weeks ago, getting their licenses and said they wanted to go out demo derbying. Actually, a teenager getting the license like the same thing. What a great, great driving job. He really navigated, missed a lot of folks, and scored a big.
That was Mark Hibbert. Unbelievable. But, you know, what they say about paybacks, and there's plenty of them in demo derbying.
Everybody just kind of jockeying around in the middle. The dog was right there. You saw him. He was kind of hung up in the middle. Mike Williamson in the 53 car, the wrecker driver. He could imagine he could win this thing and then hook himself up and drive out of here.
Yeah, the dog's got a limping right rear hind quarter. 53 car still. There's the dog to your left of the yellow car with the dog on it. He's so big time he doesn't have a number. Dog, you're going to get a shot. No. Oh.
There's the onboard camera.
He's trying to get it started. He was working the hand throttle, trying to get that baby started.
And he's going to get nailed. Now, you cannot see right on the right-hand side with our onboard camera and the red lettering there, he's asking his girlfriend to marry him. That's what he talked about earlier when he said, hey, dear, I got a surprise for you. And she's saying, well, we're not going on our honeymoon in this baby, that's for sure, but that's what the sign says.
That's right. We're not all going in the same car.
Well, he might. I mean, you know, hey, it's the dog. Yo, Bobby Gerald, you down there with a bunch of folks and looking for more than one car to get back to Indiana.
That is exactly what I'm doing. Now, to add a little bit more about the dog, I got to tell you, the dog was pretty ticked off before the races started tonight because the dog, the papier-mâché dog that is sitting right now, right behind the driver's seat, usually goes up on the roof. And he said that the folks here made him take it off the roof, and he just wasn't real happy about that. So he may have a little extra aggression out there on the speedway right now.
Somewhere out there, the future Mrs. Rush is saying, that's what the future's holding for me, huh? Now, this is a guy that used to go out and race demo motorcycles. Here's the guy we saw a few minutes ago that's doing a wonderful job out there. Steve, the front end of that car is in great shape. Hibbert has been making some big hits from the back and everything like this, and he is doing a great job.
And I tell you, talk about having his game face on. Did you see that, guys? The expression on his face and his eyes?
It's one of the guys that Bob's going to try to keep the jacket away from at the end of the day, huh? Lots of luck, Gerald. Watch it, watch it. Oh, it just got out of the way.
I'll tell you, I'm not one of the official judges, but if I had any influence, I'd pick pretty highly that 400 car, Mark Hibbert, if he scored early. That's going to be the thing. Boy, avoided a hit there.
Williamson's doing a good job with the 53. The dog looks like he got that thing fired up again. Never say die. He's going to go back down. Oh,
see him pumping the throttle, trying to keep it running?
You know what he's doing? He's looking right down there. He's looking for the diamond ring for the engagement. That's what he's looking for, I'm pretty sure.
I think he's looking for the throttle. I think he may be out of gas. Could have broken a fuel line under the hood. You never know.
He is still moving. It's amazing the damage that he's taken. He's going to go down to a little late model racing tomorrow night, do a little smooching, have a party, but he would like to survive to the finals. You don't see a whole lot of demo derbies where the crowds come out and watch and don't see the dog make it to the finals.
If this looks like good, clean family fun, it is. Bring your kids out. Join us at one of our later demo derby events in '97. The 10 car has been a quiet cannon up there. Ed Woodward has been scoring points. You can tell by the look of the rear end of the car, but very little front end damage.
That thing has been exactly the way they want it to do, Steve. They notch those things, so when you hit, it bends up instead of down. That's the sign of a guy that really has run a lot of these derbies.
And I wouldn't say there's any cheating that goes on here, but these guys make Junior Johnson and some of the other guys look like rookies. The checkered flag is out for heat number 3. The judges go to work with padded pencil to try to come up with 8 or 9 or however many they're going to transfer here.
Did you say padded cell? Oh, pad and pencil you said they're going out with. I was wondering about this. We'll be back and find out who the survivors are and who will stay to race in the finals right here at the Dixie Crash Fest live on TNN's Motor Madness.
Hit you with a gas floor, it's against the dashboard. There goes your bumper. Better get the wrecker warned.
Well, they should. From heat number 3, and there was plenty of it.
These guys come out here and volunteer, you know, and they get an opportunity to come out here and strut their stuff. The records.
Come on. What are you doing?
You're not staying here.